Hey everybody, it's Adler and welcome back to Salt in the Earth. Right then last we left off. Well, I'm pretty sure that scene went differently. The ending scene of the last episode where Rue went to Kiri and Etta about her complaint about that she's basically being given work that, well, she can't quite meet up to the standards of the amount of work. Okay, God, I'm phrasing this all really poorly. Basically, that she's doing less work than she's capable of because of her current position. That she would be more helpful in a different spot in the kitchen. And I'm pretty sure that last time Etta did not praise her afterwards. I think she just went with Query and there was probably a scene with the wrong or something. Because, and obviously in the last run through, I wasn't spending any time with Etta. So I'm pretty sure that's different and it is interesting. But we're going to see. We'll keep moving on. Ooh. Etta lifts up the lid. Steam foams up in a small area. Not only does it smell incredible, this steamed fish is plump and succulent. The juicy meat around the cut lines have raised up nicely. This isn't out of this world, Etta. When eaten with the rich skin, the sweet flavor of the fish is even more prominent, especially on the spine. Ever since Etta and I started spending time together perfecting dishes, I've been cutting down my lunch to make room for the food she makes for me. I wonder if Etta has also been reducing her portion. Our meetups have become more frequent. I knew to just show up and Etta would be there. But neither of us is willing to comment on it. Don't want to make it weird unintentionally or something? You've not once entered the fortnightly challenge. Ooh, okay, now she's going to bring it up. Interesting. Etta raises her subject matter-of-factly. Yeah, that's right. But you wanted to prove yourself, yes? Oh, has your goal changed? Are you waiting? Oh, are you waiting for Rue to actually enter the challenge before and like prove herself there before you give her another like position or something, or what? Maybe not. I don't know. Just kind of throwing and seeing what sticks. Words try to crawl out of my mouth, but I swallow them instead. Is everything okay? Like you said, something I can't handle. You want to try my plum sauce with the fish? Show me. Etta doesn't push for an answer, and I'm thankful for it. What'd I say? That some people think I have an unfair advantage? That they don't consider me as one of them, but only as someone who takes up a spot? Do they know I hung out with Etta this frequently? Or they freak out if they knew Etta and I are... What are we again? She responded to my floating attempts. She didn't mind me spoon-feeding her either. Footnote, I found out recently how intimate the gesture was for the organs. Elaborate, please. I don't think I know. Do I? It doesn't sound familiar to me. You know what sauce would be fun on this fish? Fermented soybean and tomato paste sauce. I suppressed my wandering thoughts, trying to enjoy our usual session. Save stuff for my pistachio sauce? Ooh, that's nice too. We tried the fish with a variety of dipping sauces, even questionable sauces like coffee and coconut vinegar. Coffee and coconut vinegar. Oh, this is two separate things. Okay. I thought it was one thing, and that sounded awful, but they... Okay, fish or coconut vinegar, I can see that. Potentially. Depending on the kind of fish and how it's cooked. But coffee. What? You know what? I'm just gonna take a sip and No. The delicious meal must have built up my appetite and courage, because now I feel like sharing, and sharing's caring. So now we're daring. That was bad. I'm sorry. Etta. Yes, dear. If I entered the challenge, would you have been biased towards my dish? Why, of course. Seriously? Etta takes not a second to overthink my question. It was the most obvious thing in the world to her. With effort, sure, I could try to be unbiased. You cannot expect someone to remain perfectly impartial to people they know well. You'll either rate them harsh to defend your own integrity, or to favor them. That is... Okay. I mean, I see her point. There's a lot of truth there. That is the thing that whenever you get involved in a situation like that where you know someone and you're like, we have to make a decision, and like someone really well, and you have to judge a bunch of people. It is like, it's also a really classic cliche in a lot of stories and stuff too, and well, in a lot of other situations where people will either like she says, over criticize to try and appear unbiased, or they will lean towards the person that they know or that they favor to some degree. Impartiality is a really difficult thing. It's not as easy as flipping a switch. I mean, maybe some people have an easier time of doing that. I personally don't know how I would be able to. I've never really been in a position where I've had to face that kind of decision, and I'd like to think that I could be impartial, but I doubt it. Yeah, so yeah, that is, yeah, kind of a harsh truth there, isn't it? While I value a fair contest, I doubt I'd be offended if she endorsed my dish. Rather, I would revel in the favoritism from Etta. Would you rate my dish better or harsher? Undoubtedly harsher. What? Really? Do you have any more piling on? Not because I loathe you, my dear. You work directly with me. That's already a big advantage. An advantage. Yet I felt to prep instead of cook for my real job. A job is just a job. I put you where I can draw the most from your ability given the circumstances. Would you say you were much worse now than when you started out? I've learned how to determine spoiled vegetables by their firmness, brown spots, and discoloration. Different dishes require different methods to handle and prepare their ingredients. I'm much faster serving food and assigning facings to frequent orders. So yes, I am indeed much better than when I started out. The thing I said I could handle, some staff didn't like the idea of me entering the challenge. I thought of sitting out indefinitely to keep them happy. But I don't mind if others think badly of me. As long as you don't. A pleasing smile appears on his lips. Wonder if I can pull her in for a hug. Probably a bad idea. It is smart to buff up your superior. Superior? That's not how I think of you at all. I think. Oh. I seem like spending time with you. Plus, I've already got something valuable from you. Which is your time. Etta chuckles, which I take as a good thing. That was a fascinating little conversation, wasn't it? Huh. Time is just weird. I swear, time always slows down to a halt. Just an hour before my shift's end. When the clock struck 19:30, everyone already cleaned up the station and put the equipment back under their drying racks. Then the staff poured to the mess hall to be served dinner. Sakan and I ended up staying back a little longer tonight to mop the floor. It's more relaxing to come back to a clean kitchen. Then we only need to waddle across a sea of dirty dishes. Why doesn't Orin sit with us? She's always off by herself. Even if I'm not taking part in the conversation, I still sit with your staff. Occasionally I go to Queer to sit next to me. Two people with little to say feel less awkward than just me by myself. Oh, she just does what she likes. She reminds me of nephew who's currently wanting for digging up pet corpses. Did we have this conversation last time? I don't remember, but that's a very apt comparison, and I'm not pleased with how accurate that, rings. Also, what? Sakan says what? Yeah. At least she listens to Chef, though. Warren's mother wanted her to be Etta's subordinate, after all. She does what she likes. Must be liberating knowing nothing someone else says will hurt you. In some ways, being disliked is better than being ignored. A small part of me envies Warren's ability to care so little about what others think of her. What are you gonna make for the challenge, love? Tomato and dried plum jelly and soy milk. A dessert. Can you also do that? Cool and slippery texture of the jelly combined with the sweet and tangy taste of tomatoes and savory plums all mixed in a soup of creamy soy milk. Yeah, I can tell how well it works together. I made jelly tonight, let it set. Pretty sure this bit of the conversation's happened before. Ah, here's a different bit. Plus, Chef Etta prefers to experiment on recipes by herself. Being the head chef requires Etta to plan or design the menu for the week from the ingredients and taste the presentation. Taking extra orders from our residents in advance means anticipating and purchasing the right amount of perishables for the week. I wonder if I can confidently do it someday. Experiment by herself, though? I'm not imposing myself on her, right? Careful! Drawing grabs on my arm before I fall over while trying to walk around a scattered bottle. Oh, okay. Back to... Ah, okay. Little bit of different dialogue. Sorry, I'm not mad at you, Koa. Koa was right. I have been raising my voice. It could be the poor signal on my phone acting up. My voice has been echoing on every call. Something about hearing my own voice makes me irritated. Meanwhile, poor Koa has been on the receiving end of my annoyance. Why couldn't I have a rich and soothing voice like Etta? But then I would never stop talking. Still, only helping with the produce, yeah. You know me, prep work doesn't excite me as much as the actual cooking. This is why I value my time with Etta. We occasionally did delight in prepping for our dishes. Even then, it wasn't a chore. Etta's a bit like me. She has a penchant for the most ridiculous food combinations. Maybe I'll mention to Etta today. I can't talk. I say with a grin on my face. Yes, we're still co-workers. I scoff. That's ridiculous. I don't mention her that often. Tall, soft-spoken, and slightly troubled isn't my type. I saw that they were... Shut up. They are just the hardest to resist. She seems to like me. I am 45% certain. What do you mean ask her? Who does that? Etta has indicated she finds me attractive. Sometimes she would laugh at my jokes and let her guard down, and it gave me hope she might want what we can have together. Should I be the one to ask her out? What if she doesn't feel the same? Alarm. The bad news is that by some miracle, Durong's alarm survived the fall. At the days of enduring it, I wish you'd said that its deafening ringing has gotten less annoying. The good news is that I have an excuse to avoid the uncomfortable direction this conversation is heading toward. I have to go now. You keep me updated too. I tuck myself deeper into the corner of the windy balcony while my free hand gathers around the warmth of my neck. Talk to you later, Koa. Thanks again for the job. Wow. Spirit meows at me again. He does not know how to give up. I grab him when he saunters outside. When I'm fleeing the room with the cat in one arm, I shut the balcony door behind me. No escape, kitty. It couldn't have been a moment sooner. My throat will run dry from the cold, leaving an irritating scratch just behind. Like I have right now from talking, because I don't know how to speak properly, so I always fuck up my throat. Which is why I have a cup of something in my hand right now. Help soothe the bullshit that I do to myself. You can use the one inside, you know. I have a feeling this has already been seen. Ah, okay. I was kind of waiting for this, because I'm assuming there's definitely going to be something a bit different here. Maybe. We'll see. Yeah. Someone's up at the mess hall. To the other end of the corridor is the reception area where Hazari works. She's an informative and helpful woman, even if she can be hard to get along with. My ears pick up the sound of muffled chatter in that direction. One voice belongs to Hazari. The other voice is mellow and clear, yet coaxing and... I'm hearing a train in the distance. Yet coaxing and suffocating. I'd recognize that as voice anywhere. Does Etta need something from Hazari? I don't think I've seen them interacting. Two figures are standing close in front of the desk, coated by sunlight. Sure, I'll be there. Visit me first, okay? Have yours to spare. Hazari leans back against her desk and pushes up her breast while her nails dig into Etta's arm. Etta lets her. I need to focus my attention on any places other than where their skin meets. When Hazari rakes her fingers through the length of Etta's arm, my stomach churns in disgust. My heart thumps and threatens to burst out of my chest. I wasn't aware Etta was so easy to touch, but Hazari goads her in place and leaves marks on her. My sharp breath resonates too loudly. Immediately, Etta yanks her hand away from Hazari's grasp. Huh? Ledge girl? When my eyes raise up to meet Edda's challenging gaze behind the sheen of her glasses, an undaunting smile blooms on her face. She stares at me as if I was the one who got caught red-handed doing something wrongful. Are you going to say something here? Yes. Good morning. Good morning to you, too. Azari's joyful expression falters. Her dark glare threatens to swallow me whole. My weary smile slowly fades. You both obviously have something to discuss. Oh, I'll take my leave. Of course you will. Goodbye. Edda only makes a few steps in my direction before Azari's hand stops her. Remember, my door is always open for you. See you tonight at the meeting. Edda shakes her head. The most inane idea played in my head. I, too, can touch Edda. Can I? Oh, God. What, that phrasing? Why that phrasing? Edda's eyes avoid mine as she moves towards the mess hall corridor. Claim Edda. Oh, my God. Now my question is, if there's obviously going to be an alternative option if you go down one of the non-linear routes, wow, what would that do? Really? Claim. Fine. In a swift movement, I step into Edda's path, surprised even myself. My right hand unconsciously raising it to touch her smile. I drop it midway with the scars on Edda's chest instead. By the look of it, Edda and Azari's connection is as brittle as a clump of dry sand. There is nothing that screams to me they're together. Which is interesting because I'm pretty sure in the Durong's route, she thought they were together and even asked Azari, and she told her that they... I think she admitted that they were, but not anymore. I think. Meanwhile, Edda and I have been exchanging stories. Every time we hang out, I find out more about Edda and vice versa. If it's arrogant to suggest that Edda prefers to be with me, so be it. We're sailing this afternoon, right? I attempt to smile at Edda when Edda drops her gaze out of my hand on her chest. Despite myself, I wait for her to slap it away. Huh. You're so amusing. Of course I'd never turn you down, my dear. Even when Edda answers me with that exact aloof voice she used on Azari, my chest swells. With that, Edda disappears into the mess hall corridor. And needless to say, Azari's been watching this whole thing transpiring before her very eyes. Interesting display. I expected contempt. I expected anger. Sneering, a show of disgust or mockery, all were fitting responses to what just happened. Instead, I'm left with whatever this is. Serenity, perhaps? I didn't know you were so close. Actually, you can save that thought. I'm not mad, truly. As if Edda would be interested in anyone romantically. Although I never thought... Azari looks at me up and down before she continues. She would spend that much time with you. She's a loveless woman, that one. If there's one thing she's devoted to, it would be this community. Leaders like that are very admirable, don't you think? It's a pity because she's a looker. I don't mind the dip of that, Ledge Girl. Another dip? Or Edda and Azari a thing? More importantly, you keep calling me Ledge Girl. That's not fair. I only broke one ledge. I hope so. There's not enough work for us. That was actually a little funny, but on principle, I won't laugh. It always struck me as odd for Azari to be in her position as the head of the security department. On the one hand, her bubbly nature makes sense for her to be greeting visitors at the reception desk. On the other hand, her physique is nowhere as impressive as the other Oregon women in the building to justify a role in security. While understanding the boss means you don't have to do the grunt work, this is a camp for armed mercenaries. Even stranger, she doesn't have the unique body tattoo the Oregons have. In its place are scar tissues. Take a picture would last longer. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to stare. But I want to learn more. It seems to be a sensitive subject. I was actually here for one more thing. Are there any hot spots in this area? My voice keeps echoing and it's quite grating. You know how it is to hear your own voice. You came to the right person, Ledge Girl. Fine. Would Army Girl work better? Azari puts up her hands. No. Oh, jeez, Azari. I'm trying to avoid necessary trouble. I expected Azari to be aware of my service, and this only drives the point further. I don't see why it should be hidden. What's the worst thing that can happen? The residents think you're a spy? I don't think that's very funny. Fine, fine. So scary. I'll drop it. Azari is like water filling to the brim. A single bump puts me on edge, worrying that something incriminating might spill out of her. Hotspots, right? It's easy for me to show you on the security cameras. Cameras? Yeah, it's my job, you know. Come into the booth. We'll have a bit of time before Mika shows up and destroys my morning. Behind the counter are multiple monitors showing footage from security cameras, constantly switching between different views, including a few underwater. I guess you've added the merfolk's nested in close proximity to the communal house. Or perhaps they're keeping their eyes on him Gonsmerfolk. The head departments in this communal house can be hard to read. Yamgana is fairly open to me, but Ed and Azari are a shroud of mystery. Talking to Azari in particular is like navigating through landmines. I turned out none of the hotspots to give me privacy I require. Still, I hang out with Azari for a while before going to work. Huh. Sakan is a little distracted today. And that makes the third time she's walked into the kitchen bench top. Right, I'm going to end this one here. Okay, so that was a very interesting exchange there. Huh. It didn't change a ton. I mean, it obviously added a very specific new element to that scene, but apart from that, it didn't change a whole lot of it. A lot of it still went more of how it went last time, but it changed in the points that mattered. So that was very interesting. But yeah, anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.